Hey, it's me, GV, and welcome to another Silksong guide. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a guide on how to do the Liquid Lacquer quest, or delivery, whatever you want to call it. Basically, you find this one in Bellheart from the Pill Brothers, or whatever they're called, the little pill dudes. One guy's Pill, the other guy's Tip. There we go. Anyways, Tip and Pill, yeah, you come to these guys and you'll get a unique delivery quest to do Liquid Lacquer. And this is probably going to be one of the last quests that you do because you have to basically set these two guys up. You have to basically rescue, I think, both of them. So this is going to be a bit later game, and this is very similar to that one quest in Hollow Knight where you had to basically go throughout the entire map without fast traveling, and it was a huge pain. This one's a bit easier though, and I'm going to show you the best route to do it and how to get it done. So as you can see here, our goal is to basically go to the west through the Shellwood, then into, I believe, the Blasted Steps, kind of up into the right, into the Citadel, and then left into the Slab, and then finally into Mount Faye. And really, it's honestly not that bad. The only thing that's going to get you here is pretty much just kind of spaghettiing, spaghettiing the situation, basically getting freaked out and like messing up. It's really not as bad, especially compared to the Hollow Knight version of this. I definitely highly recommend opening up as much of the Citadel as possible. There are a bunch of little shortcuts, especially the Ventrica to the bottom left. There is a Ventrica that you definitely want to open up that kind of shortcut there because it's going to make it a lot easier to kind of get into the Citadel and immediately go to the left. So if you can't really do that, if you don't have some of the Citadel opened, definitely go and explore, especially the bottom left of it, as much as you can. All right, so our first objective is to go from Bellheart all the way through the Shellwood. And keep in mind, yeah, you cannot use fast travel for this. That's kind of the whole point. You have to basically just go there manually. So you'll notice I'm always checking my map to see what my best route is. And you'll also notice the delivery to the top left has 3 charges. What that means is if you get hit 3 times, and I think it counts too if you like fall too far and then kind of do a big landing where the screen shakes, that also counts against it. Basically, you'll have to do this all over again. So yeah, this one's pretty brutal because the other deliveries, I think, like give you 5 charges for much easier routes. So this one's just basically intentionally mean, pretty much. But yeah, basically I'm going to go down the bottom floor of the Shellwood. These guys are annoying just because these little pond skaters will kind of move hectically. So you kind of want to let them move first, but then you've also got those little spear thrower guys that are also really annoying. So basically when you come up to the pond skaters, just give it a second and see if they're going to dash. Because if they do dash, then obviously you don't want to collide with them. Now, this room's annoying because we got these little bell guys. Obviously, the more damage that you have, the better. This is with 2 weapon upgrades, so not crazy, but it does help me, take these guys out a bit quick. Also, I saw a tip where you can use that one tool that lets you hold on to walls without slipping. Honestly, I didn't really need anything here. I was kind of confident in doing this. So yeah, you can equip whatever the heck you want to make this easier, but in all reality, it's really going to come down to just getting away from or killing enemies very quickly. So whatever build you need to equip to make that happen. I didn't really equip any major tools or tricks or anything like that. So anyways, we're now entering the Blasted Steps, which is probably the hardest part of this, I would say, overall. This early part is really annoying too because of these falling rocks. I'm basically doing all of this sight on scene, even though I've done these routes before, obviously. But, I had confidence that I could kind of just go through and get this done, especially with doing that first Hollow Knight quest. But yeah, the Blasted Steps are annoying. I do take 1 hit of damage too at some point. I don't remember exactly when it happens. I think I'm able to beat this with 2 charges left. But obviously the spikes are a little scary. The biggest tip here is just go as slowly as you can. Obviously, when you deal with some enemies, you're going to have to speed up or they'll hit you. But outside of that, you can kind of take it a bit slow and, use the up and down movements to be able to scout up or below you, which is super duper helpful as well. So basically, here we go. We're working our way up the Blasted Steps. I need to kind of like use the wind here to move all the way to the right. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, the wind effect. I forgot about that. So Obviously, the more movement abilities you have as well, like the claw line and the double jump and everything like that, are going to help you here. You're probably going to have all of that stuff anyways, because I don't think you can get this quest until, you know, pretty late game anyways. So yeah, we're going up and up and up, and I think I do get hit by these little sand dudes in the sand. I think that's the only point of damage that I take during this. This has one of the scariest elements, which honestly is not that scary, but given what we're trying to do here, it's more scary than it should be, and that is those little drill bit guys. I'm sure everybody knows about these guys at this point, because these guys are like one of the most annoying things in the game. But these dudes right here, yeah, you can see I almost get hit there because I didn't think that little drill bit was going to come back. So you have to basically make a choice. Am I going to kill this guy, or am I going to get away from him ASAP? Because that little drill guy right there is really probably what's very likely to hit you, if anything is likely to hit you. But also speed. I mean, keep in mind, you know, a lot of enemies, oh my god, look at that. Yeah, a lot of enemies you know, are very slow to kind of like wake up and start attacking you, so you don't have to freak out. You can kind of just keep moving if you're a bit more confident, especially if you're doing this you know, in more tries than me, because again, I did this first try, so I kind of had to react a whole bunch. But if you were practiced with this, you know, you're probably gonna have a little bit better reaction. So anyways, there I fell into the sand, so I took 1 hit out of the 3. If you do take 3 hits total, or if you, again, fall a very large distance, then you'll have to basically repeat this all over again, which is really annoying because obviously this is a big commitment. Now, this route here, I definitely remembered a lot better because of the walk back to the last judge boss. So this, I kind of was like, oh yeah, I remember doing all this platforming to get through this area relatively quickly. So that's what we're doing here, just up and over. There's a lot of kind of little shortcutty type stuff here if you're good at pogoing off the bells, jumping over to the left, etc., etc., etc. Although this is a dead end, so do not go up here. Just keep going up and to the right, back to where the last judge is. So this next part's basically free. You enter this big zone with all of the scales and everything like that, and you're basically just going to the top right to a secret area, which then will enter this part. Do not get hit by that whirling fan. That will mess you up. And now we're relatively okay. I mean, really, it's the blasted steps that makes this difficult. So you can see we're making our way to the slab, which is up and to the left. And again, depending on the shortcuts that you have unlocked here, this is either going to be a little bit more tricky for you, or it's going to be relatively easy. Again, mainly it's that Ventrica area to the bottom left. If you have not unlocked that in your normal playthrough, I definitely recommend going around and exploring the Citadel and doing that, because it will make this easier. Also, with 2 weapon upgrades, you can see I just killed that guy in 2 hits. So you can be aggressive if you have like at least 2 weapon upgrades. Clearly, you do not want to extend fights if you don't have to. If you just think it's better to kind of dash around, then go for that. Although, keep in mind, you might run into another enemy that will really throw you off. So it really comes down to whether or not you want to fight or if you want to flight. So this room right here, you can see I'm passing a lever. So if you haven't gotten behind here and if you haven't hit that lever, make sure to do that, because you'll basically be able to kind of go up here and to the left in the back ways, as opposed to kind of trying to approach the slab from the front, which I honestly don't know what's over there. I'm betting there's a lot more enemies over there. So just keep that in mind. This is better, but it's probably doable without all the shortcuts unlocked. It just makes it obviously a lot easier. So right here, I see this guy for the first time since I released him, so I talked to him for a bit. And then we are on our way right past him, literally to the right, and then up. And obviously we'll have to pass through the slab as well, which I don't remember the slab really having anything crazy difficult. There are a few enemies spread out, but really if you're paying attention, it shouldn't be that big of a deal, because the slab is a relatively early area. Now, going from the Citadel over to the slab, there are some enemies that wake up here, but again, it takes them time to wake up, and every time you transition to a different room, they kind of reset. So you don't have to freak out. You can kind of just go fast. You know, you don't have to, like, you know, think, oh god, an enemy's activated. You can kind of just dash right past them. Because we're pretty much in the clear here. Obviously, you still want to be careful, but once you get to this part, it really comes down to just platforming in Mount Fay, which of course the more platforming abilities that you have, the easier it's going to be, which again, I think at this point you're pretty much going to have everything anyways, except for I think a major movement ability in Act 3. So anyways, down we go in the slab. We're trying to get to the bell station, which is basically the end of the slab area. Make sure not to accidentally use the bell station, because I'm pretty sure if you use the bell station, it just immediately cancels this quest out. And so yeah, now we basically have to platform up Mount Fay again, but it's a heck of a lot easier, because keep in mind the first time you're here, you don't have the Fay down cloak. You don't have the double jump, which is huge. So now it's really not that bad. You really just have to watch out for accidentally touching spikes or accidentally touching enemies. There is shortcuts here. You can basically use the wall all the way to the right to kind of get around some of the stuff. I couldn't really figure it out, so eventually I just said, well, screw it. I have the double jump. I don't really need to, you know, squeeze out every little instance of using a shortcut. But there is a way to basically, yeah, use this eastern wall to pretty much avoid some of the stuff. You can see I'm claw lining to the left and then kind of jumping up and over. It really honestly didn't help out like crazy too much. So if you find it safer to just go the intended route, I definitely recommend that. But remember, we're using our claw line to basically jump off of these enemies. And every time you kill one of the enemies, you'll get a silk charge back because you're killing something. So it's one of those things where you don't want to freak out and think, oh, I'm not going to have charge to keep going. If you're killing an enemy, you will have charge to keep going. All right, so you probably know our end target here. It's that mask maker guy. You've probably been there while you were exploring Mount Fay. We're trying to get all the way to the top left to turn in this liquid lacquer. They knew what they were doing with this quest. They knew that it was going to be really annoying. Yeah, there are spikes everywhere, which is a bit scary, but again, you have so much movement here. As long as you're just not rushing things, you should be okay, mainly because having the double jump, again, really helps you out in Mount Fay, more so than you would realize. So every time you see one of these little bug guys, the game is trying to get you to think, oh, okay, use the claw line to jump off of them and immediately get another silk charge back. But again, with the double jump, we can kind of do this here and skip some of the segments. So really, it's up to you in terms of whatever route that you want to take. You can follow the exact one that I'm doing, or you can kind of try to find your own way. You have a lot of options at this point in time. So we're almost to our destination. We don't want to freak out. We don't want to be too hasty. We want to be smart here. You can see we kind of need to go up a little bit and then down that huge slope to the left. Now, this slope right here does have jumps. Actually, not this one. Just kidding. We're going to jump off on a ledge over here to the left. And then basically, this huge slope coming up does have traps. It's honestly very hard to get hit by them. It's really if you're just not paying attention and being too hasty. So again, we don't have to freak out. We just want to kind of keep an eye out for the spikes that are coming up, and we want to jump over them. The game is pretty lenient in this area in general. So right here, we've got this massive slope. So I'm basically constantly scanning for any sort of spikes. We have the hover, we have the double jump, we have the claw line, we have a lot of abilities to stay in the air. So as long as we're just not kind of freaking out and accidentally falling into a spike pit, it should be absolutely fine. So there's that massive slope, and then we've got literally the last leg of this quest left. There's a spike pit there, so we want to just claw line into this enemy and then jump off of this left wall. We've got an enemy over here. I think I might fall down here. No, just kidding. Okay, so then we get up to the top ledge, and then we just have to basically get over these final little pits of spikes. Another enemy here and another enemy here, but we can also just, if we fall into that slope to the right or to the left, we can basically just keep jumping and dashing like I do right here, and you will get up to the top where the end of this quest awaits. So there you go. Did this first try. Again, as long as you just don't freak out and kind of make a lot of mistakes and get through the blasted steps, you should be relatively okay. Hope this guide helps. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hey, it's me, GV, and thank you for watching that video. If you would like to see more, there is a ton of bonus completed series and more to come on the Patreon right up here. Also, check out these videos. And then finally, if you would like to support this channel and become a member, you can do so by clicking join under the video, and you'll get early stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see ya in the next video.